Thank you so much for that warm introduction, and I'm just really looking forward to anything with you in the future. This has already been such a beautiful space. I can just feel the energy, how lovely it is, and I'm just happy to be here. So thank you. And I'll just say that my name is Moe Ari Brown, licensed marriage and family therapist. For anybody who doesn't know me, I use they, them, or he, him pronouns, and I just have the honor and the privilege to be here in this space with so many of you. I'm here in Stone Mountain, Georgia, on the land of the Muskogee people, and I'd love to invite the other panelists to introduce themselves as we begin today. And so whoever wants to go first, feel free to go, just so that everybody can get to know you. Maybe your name, pronouns, and your a little bit about you.
Okay, I'll start. Good morning, everyone. My name is JaiLyn Consenta. I am 25 years old. I am from the greater Birmingham area. I'm currently employed with Alethia House as a community health worker. And yeah, that's a little bit, just a small little portion about myself.
Okay, well, I guess I'll go next. My name is Tykira Spruill. I'm 42 years old, of the way of Virginia, most of Virginia, that is. And I come to you this morning with love and to learn a lot of knowledge from me, myself personally, as well as the other ladies up here on this panel.
Oh, well, hey, I'm Eonna Duncan. I'm 18 years old. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. And I'm just here to learn and explore, basically.
Well, I'm so grateful that you all are here because I know it's going to be a really great conversation, and I'm just excited to see your beautiful faces this morning. So I just want to open this up by saying that we know that there are a number of challenges that negatively impact the mental health of Black trans women. And we know that those mental health issues range from threats of violence, lack of acceptance from family, and a shortage of resources, and so on. That's an infinite list, and it's growing. And we're here to do something about that, to start those necessary conversations or to partake in them where they're not already being had. So this is a beautiful offering and a great opportunity for us to do so. So I'm going to start with Tykira. I'm going to ask you, what stereotypes and misconceptions exist about the lives of Black trans women? If you could speak to that, I think that that's a beautiful way for us to open up our conversation today.
Of course, when I do speak, I speak on our terms. I never say we, because every lady is different in their own ways. All of us came from different backgrounds, so I will never say we. And if I do, please forgive me, but that's just how I am. So with me, I would say being a Black trans woman, some of the things that we deal with, we stereotype as far as the first thing they see is we are sex workers. Then next we do say we're HIV positive, we have AIDS. And it goes on and on and on. That we lack of education, we don't know much, we're dumb. It's just ridiculous because you judge us for what you see on the outside and not knowing us, because a lot of us come from education. A lot of us have degrees. A lot of us have high school diplomas. A lot of us went on to college. Granted, some of us are broken. Let me say this. People like me are broken, grew up in homes that don't have the parents. So it goes back to where I lack into love and things like that. So people may feel like we do certain things for love. And do we? Sometimes, in our terms again, yes, just to get that attention. But at the end of the day, it's not always good attention, and it can cause society to look at me different because of the way I chose to live my life and the way I try to do things in my life. So, like I said, the stereotypes are definitely sex work. That's like the biggest thing being trans. As soon as you see a trans person, the first thing people think is, oh, she's a sex worker. Not knowing that she can have a 9 to 5. She can be well educated and know just as much as you know. And I just hate that because before you read the book, you judging it. And I hate that you judging it outside of the cover before you get a chance to know who I really am and everything like that.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing more about those stereotypes. And really, I could feel your sensitivity to those stereotypes and how you even push back in your own life against a lot of that. And so thank you for sharing that. My next question is for JaiLyn. What would you like the world to know about the true lived experiences of Black trans women? So to piggyback off of what Tykira just shared.
Well, I first off want to start by saying that, of course, as Tykira stated, and I'm sure Eonna could agree with me, every trans woman experience is totally, completely different. Just as you would have in the gay community, just as you have gay men and straight men and straight women and gay women, we're all uniquely different within our own divine given right. And I think a lot of people forget that. But the one thing that I really want people to understand about us is that we're compassionate for your needs, and we want you to be compassionate for our needs just as the same. And we're here and not going absolutely anywhere. So make room for us. That you can't write us off. You can't take us out of history. You can't take us out of financial stability. You can't take us out the economy. You can't stop us from being attributes within the fashion community, the hair community, the makeup community, the fashion community, and the list goes on and on. But we're like a tree on earth. You can't take us off, period, point blank. We're here to stay, and we have so many more attributes to offer if you guys will educate yourselves and open that door for us to be able to walk through. We can be a force together, but we're definitely a movement by ourselves as one.
Pretty much.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And I think that that really nicely aligns with what Tykira was sharing about those stereotypes and how there's so much beyond those stereotypes. So just thank you for sharing so much more. So Eonna, as we shared earlier, Black trans women often do not have the support of family. How do you create family and a community of support as a Black trans woman?
I mean, me personally, when it comes to family, it's kind of hard, but I pick and choose. I would say that. I pick the ones who I see personally actually have an end for me and not just seeking to like, oh, she pretty or whatever, but we're gonna take her in just because she less fortunate. No, I don't want that. I want you to actually be there for me. Because right now, I see a lot of gay families and stuff like that, and they're very dysfunctional. And I don't want that kind of family. I feel like if you're gonna take a trans kid in to be in a family, you should actually love the kid and actually want to have a kid to represent your name and actually be for the kid. But right now, people don't know what actual family is. People just doing everything for attention and for their well-being and not for that person's. Mm-mm.
Yeah, so your experience has been that you've felt unsupported in many ways. And so I think that that really speaks to the fact that there are a lot of disadvantages and a lot of challenges for family seeking. And I wonder if JaiLyn or Tykira wanted to add here anything around family, how to create family, because we know that those disadvantages are happening. Thank you, Eonna, for sharing that.
You're welcome.
She basically said it. She said it basically all, because when it comes to, we say chosen family, I mean, if we chose this person, because apparently we see something in this person before we can call this person a mother or a father or whatever title you want to give them. I come from a very family origin. I'm from North Carolina, born and raised. So down south where that is, everything's about family. It's all about family, the love and support from your family. So when you come into the gay community, as we will say, and we choose certain people to be certain things in our life, I look up to them to be that type of person. If I say you're my mother, I look up to you for that mother's love. You're going to give me that type of that tough love when I need it and that soft love when I need it. You're going to give me the rules of things that I may not know. Yes, I may be 42 years old, but it's a lot of things that I don't know and I'm still learning. I'm a work in progress. So you're never too old to learn. But when it comes to these type of things, some people take it for a joke. And like Eonna was saying, some people would say it's for a clout. It's all about what can you get out of this person? Okay, if I make this person my mama, what can I get out of this person? If I make this person my child, what could I get out of them? And I grew up in that era back then. I seriously doubt, I don't know if JaiLyn or Eonna, because they're younger than me, where people would make people their child because of they was in the military, or they had this job that made lots of money, or they had a house and the parent might not had a house. And nowadays it's flipped to where you may get a parent that has a house or a car or whatever they may have that could be materialistic, and that child may want it, or they may have that clout to where they can get into a club or whatever, and let's quickly be said that's your mama or whatever it may be. But I thank goodness that I never went that route because of I don't have my biological family in my life. So when I said chosen family, I get the chance to pick someone who I know genuinely loves me and that's for me. Like my gay mom now, which I don't like to use the word gay. Actually, I said my mom. She's very strict. She's very on me all the time when I'm right and then when I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, she puts me in my place. And I need that the type of structure because I grew up without structure in my life. So with that being said, with her, just she's the mother, and to me, she's like a father sometimes because of the fact of the love that she gives me, and she takes care of both roles. So I don't have to have all these mamas and dads because some people do. And JaiLyn and Eonna can correct me if I'm wrong. They be having 1,001 mamas and daddies, and it be confusing because in your real birth life, you get one mama, you get one daddy. Now, if you get a god mama or god daddy, it's something different. But you get all these mamas and daddies, it becomes to where it's a joke. Like, baby, what are you trying to get out of this? And then when you pronounce them or introduce these people to other people, they're like, well, what the world is really going on? Like, why you got this mama over here? And that's why me personally, I just feel like you just need one mama. And the mama I have, I just thank God for her because if it wasn't for her right now, like I would be all over the place. And she grounds me. She has grounded me since I've been back in here in Birmingham. It's almost a year now. And I've been her child for like maybe like 3-4 months now, for 5 months at the most. And the knowledge that I've learned from her, the talks that I've had with her means more to me than anything in the world. And before I end, just like with JaiLyn, like I look at JaiLyn like my niece, and the talks that we have, she's younger than me, but that doesn't mean I can't learn from her because we both can learn from each other. But this is why I pick and choose who I chose, who's in my family, and who's in my circle when it comes to what we said, chosen family, not just gay families, also chosen family.
Just to keep it short and simple because they kind of said everything, but I think family overall has evolved since the beginning of time. We've came to a place where, we come from a place where it was the Black father and then the mother and then the children within the house. And then we went to a place where it was no father present. Then we went to a place where it was just a mother present. And now we're in a place where it can be absolutely no one present within a home. So in creating family, I think it's all about education and really determining and putting your pinpoint on what family means to you and being able to advocate that not only for self, but to show others that, family is a force within itself. And it's so powerful to connect instead of be disconnected.
Wow, I think all of your responses are just illuminating, very inspiring. Just the idea that family can be whatever we decide and whatever we choose to make it. And that choice is very, very significant. So I'm hearing from all of you all that we have to be very intentional about how we go about it. And we want to choose based on something that's going to give us wisdom, knowledge, like Tykira was saying, and community has to be very grounded in something like I'm hearing JaiLyn and Eonna saying. So thank you so much for sharing that. And this is another question for everyone. How does racism, sexism, and transphobia negatively impact mental health within the trans woman community, Black trans women? How does racism, sexism, and transphobia negatively impact mental health?
Okay, so you said racism, sexism, and transphobia?
Yes.
Okay, so I honestly feel that all of these things connect to ultimately keep us at the below ground surface. And I say that to say, just as you have the grass on the ground, a lot of people do those things to keep trans women below surface as a hidden gem or a hidden secret or something that's not supposed to be seen in the sunlight of day because of what we've decided to live as and how we decide to identify and how we present ourselves within the community. And I just think a lot of people, again, I'm going to keep saying education because just like you have to learn your basic reading, math, writing, and arithmetic, you have to learn about each and every community. You have to educate yourself about the Caucasian community, the Hispanic community, the Latino community, the African community, and just the different diverse, and we're just the same. It's not who we are. It's just a part of what we are, if that makes sense. And a lot of people tend to only pick and choose what they want to take out of stereotypes to make it okay for them or to make it acceptable for society eyes to be viewed. And I think a lot of people just simply write us off because they don't have the time to properly educate themselves about what trans community are, or even what about the LGBT plus QIA community is. I'm sorry.
I feel like JaiLyn you just said a mouthful. Like that is so true. And mentally, it can be mentally draining at the end of the day because of the fact of when you try to do, we just being ourselves. We are human just like the next person, and then just to go through all of this to be someone's secret is definitely mentally draining. But JaiLyn, you said a mouthful, so I'm just gonna keep it short. You said a mouthful.
Honestly, I don't really know what to say at this moment. Because you said sexism, racism, and transphobia. Is that what you said?
Yes, yeah.
I mean, that's kind of a lot. Because first of all, we already got it hard being Black as it is already. And then to want to transition and actually become what you want to be, it's like that kind of adds on to that. Because honestly, in the Black community, these people don't see us as like, you know what I'm saying, as normal. They see us as basically like, oh, that child just confused. That child know what that child want. Or they just won't talk to us at all. They'll just sweep us under the rug or keep everything hush-hush, like, we don't know what's going on. But actually, they really do. And then, like transphobia, the ones who actually don't like us, honestly, I think they're foolish. Because they say they don't like us, but at the end of the day, you're doing things behind closed doors. So honestly, all of it's just basically foolish to me.
Yeah, so I'm hearing from everyone that there is pain around the secrecy, the being asked to be something in private, or the suppression of your identities, the how you love, being told you that you're wrong for how you love, how you live, and that it's, there's this real radical authenticity for you all showing up here and being yourselves every single day in a world that's constantly asking you to be quiet, to not use your voice, to not show up and be visible. And so I just feel that pain and the passion that you have about pushing back against all of that. So thank you each for really speaking to that. And it sounds like JaiLyn got everybody fired up and around this particular topic. And so I just thank you all for sharing from your heart, because I can feel that pain as I'm listening to you. So how can mental health professionals help create supportive healing spaces for Black trans women? I think that that's an important follow-up question. In spaces where, you have been ostracized, suppressed, oppressed, how can mental health professionals help to create more supportive, I'm going to say celebratory healing spaces for Black trans women?
You want to go first, JaiLyn?
Yes, I'm gonna go first, and I feel we should work our way around to Eonna because she's the baby of us. And I and yourself both have experiences with working within these type of platforms and arenas. But to just start off, giving us platforms just like this, allowing us to tell our story. I feel a lot of times a lot of people just write us off. And I honestly hate that, because we're such, like I keep saying, we're such a diverse group of human beings. Notice I said human beings first. I didn't say we're a diverse group of trans women. I didn't say we're a diverse group of what some people like to classify us as still being Black males or whatever the stereotypes they like to put on us. First, we are a group of human beings. I think people need to understand that first. Then moving forward, you have to be able to create platforms where we can properly educate others to understand us. And then just being able to understand that we have compassion, we need compassion, we have feelings just like everyone else, we bleed just the same, we cry just the same, we go through everyday life struggles just like everyone else. And I just feel like you can't say you're for someone and you don't give them an opportunity to advocate. I've said several times, the best way to advocate is to be seen. A lot of times we hide, and I can blame a lot of the things that we face on ourselves because the trans community for so long have allowed other communities to ostracize us and make us feel less superior than them, and we're not. When actuality, it's all in us. Everything is derived within us. Everything that you guys see within community, 9 times out of 10, started from trans women or someone of the LGBT plus QIA community that has made its way into what we like to call the heterosexual community. And I just think we just need to get to a place where we can call a spade and just understand. I can't stress that enough, that we have to understand, just like we have to find it in our heart some type of way to understand the straight community, the bisexual community, the part of us that identify as them and they, and all these other pronouns. You have to give us that same energy and respect and give us this platform to advocate for ourselves, just like they have the opportunity to advocate for themselves.
JaiLyn, I mean, not Eonna. Okay, so I don't. There she go.
What was the question again? Because she kind of blew me.
Well, how can mental health professionals help to create supportive, celebratory, healing spaces for Black trans women? Like, what would you like to see therapists do differently or mental health professionals do differently to create better spaces?
Therapists, I would say show more intent. You know what I'm saying? Intensive behavior. Because I've been through a lot of therapists. I have, like, multiple. And I've always seen the same thing. I feel I get like a fake kind of energy from that, because I feel like they claim they understand and like, oh, they're here to listen, but I don't think they're actually here to listen. You know what I'm saying? But don't get me wrong, I have met therapists that have been there and like they actually could understand what I was going through, because like they either have a child that's going through the same thing I'm going through, and they're able to provide support on what they're giving their child. But the ones I feel like who aren't actually having to go through what we're going through don't really understand. They're just telling us what they think that we want to hear to make us feel better, to make us not want to go out here and oh, I'm being talked about, blah 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 blah, I'm gonna go kill myself. No. That's what I feel like they're trying to do, honestly.
So you're saying that there's a difference between one, being able to personally relate to your experience and being able to say the right things. You're living your life so authentically. You're like, I need the therapist to be authentic. And I'm wondering if there's a way that therapists, even without having had your lived experience or a similar lived experience, if there's a way that they can show up authentically, empathically, and really support you. What would that look like if
they can educate themselves more? Do that.
Yeah.
They can go out and see it for themselves and actually get a handful on what's going on out there in the world, like live. They can do that.
Thank you. I think that's a beautiful answer. Absolutely. Absolutely. Tykira, did you have something you want to say about this question?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it real short. To me, when you said the word therapist, or when we said the word therapist, I don't this is my personal opinion. I feel the best advice comes from the person who lived that experience. With that being said, I've had a therapist experience before. I had it twice with someone who's licensed and got a degree in it, and I have from someone who has lived my life experience. And that someone who lived a life experience advice was the best advice, and it made things so much easier. And I looked at it and understood it better because of the fact of how can you tell me something about myself, or how can you coincide with what I'm going on or feel what I've been through if you've never been through it before yourself? That's like me sitting in front of a cisgender man and I'm sitting here pouring my heart out for, you know, help or whatever, and let them know what's going on so they can help me mentally. You can't help me if you really don't know what I've been through, or you never experienced it yourself. So it's like with me, the best experience or the best knowledge comes from someone who's lived that experience. I can go to JaiLyn and JaiLyn can be hands-on with information or some type of word of encouragement because of the fact that she lived this life. I can't go to, for example, Nadia, because Nadia is a cis woman. She doesn't know my lifestyle. She hasn't experienced what I've been through as a Black trans woman. So it's, to me, therapist is all about experience, hands-on experience, not all about what kind of degree you have on your wall. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're speaking to some really powerful points here. And I think that shortage of mental health resources is a big part of like why we're here. You know, I get a lot of clients all of the time, just like an influx of clients who have just very challenging experiences with other therapists. And it's only one of me. And I don't ever often have enough people to refer, or enough like trans therapists to refer people to. And so we're getting at something that's really important. Like, how do people who don't have transgender experience, how can they be supported? And I think this is a question we might have to come back to flesh out more, because it's a really important one. As our resources are limited, what could it look like for cisgender therapists or people who don't have transgender experience to support someone? And maybe what you're getting at, Tykira, very specifically, is that they can't give advice because they'd have to be there just as empathy and support if that was what you were wanting, or celebration, but they can't really tell you about your experience. But I would love for us to come back to this if time allows. But the next question is for you, Tykira. What prevents you from you in any moment, if you've ever like not prioritized your mental health? What has prevented you from doing that if there were moments where that was happening?
Ooh. I would say, like, working in a nonprofit, when you first come in, when I first came in nonprofit, the first thing I was taught was you can't show your true feelings to the clients. You have to hide everything behind, within. So it's like, at the end of the day, I'm human. It's like this person is human. So I can be going through some stuff, and then when I hear what this person is going through, it can be wearing me thin. And I'm a very emotional person. I'm a very loving person. So I can get attached to a person real quick, but then I forget about the fact of my mental health. And next thing you know, that I had to learn over years, and just now, I have my breakdowns behind closed doors, to where a whole lot would build up, and I'd be like, what about Tykira at the end of the day? Like, I'd be so focused on others till I forget about me, myself. And I don't like calling people. Like, I know I have my niece, Jay, I can call her, so I know I can do that, but I just don't want to put that on her. Like, I feel like when you unload your burdens on somebody else, that's a headache. So with me personally, what I do is, that's a very good question. I just deal with it on behind closed doors. I try not to get like overwhelmed or overworked when it comes to mental health, because my mental health is very, very important. That's what helps me get through the day. If I'm not in a positive space, it can make my day go another way. But at the end of the day, Tykira is all about making others make sure their mental health is going the right way. Because at the end of the day, I'm all about someone's winning, someone being happy, someone achieving their goals, someone better in their life to get to where I didn't. Like, for instance, someone could be going through something that I've been through before, and I don't want you to go all the way through that situation. So I'm gonna help you out. And mentally, it do become draining. Nonprofit, working in this field, it does become mentally draining. But at the end of the day, it's the love, it's the accomplishment, when people win, that's what makes it a positive day. And that's what makes my heart warm.
Yeah. So it sounds like when in moments where you're not prioritizing your mental health, it's because you're really trying to be there for everybody and you really want to see people succeed. And so sometimes that can become draining and you have to tell yourself to take a pause, but it's not automatic sometimes. So you have to keep reminding yourself, is what I'm hearing you say. So thank you for sharing that. I think that we can all learn a lesson in that. Any mental health provider for sure can relate. What challenges, this is for JaiLyn, what challenges exist for you in finding a culturally responsive and affirming mental health professional? What challenges exist in finding a culturally responsive and affirming mental health professional?
Ooh, everything. And I literally do mean everything. I'm gonna give a small story to lead up to where I am now in my career. I started out working fast food jobs, you know, because that was something that I felt was easier and something that was more so fast and finances for me to be able to provide the means of living necessities that I felt that I deserve, to now working for a nonprofit organization. It is, you know, it's still the same, you know, especially being a Black trans woman. Everywhere you go, you're gonna always face things and unencouraging words, people that don't think that you deserve to be in this room, people that feel that you don't have the credentials, people that feel that you're incapable, people that feel like you just simply don't supposed to be in this field. And it's scary to me because I don't have the luxury of working for a trans organization, just as Tykira does or did, or however you decide to put it. But I work for Alethia House, so I have to go into a place and keep in the back of my mindset that these people have hired me and they have given me the opportunity to do the job. But at the end of the day, they don't know what a trans woman is and they don't understand what a trans woman is. So a lot of these times, being the first to do something out of your community, it's a lot to be put on our shoulders because we have to be the blueprint to the next trans woman that comes in, whether it's Black, whether it's a Caucasian, or whether it's a Latino, because at the end of the day, how they view it is what you can do. I'm looking at your sister that comes behind you. I'm looking that she can do the exact same thing, if not better, or if not worse. So I just feel like, you know, we have to constantly be able to go into these fields and break the stereotypes of what a trans woman can offer and what we can actually bring to the table. And I'm going to take time to advocate for my program, which is the In Shape. We push prevention, and we basically work with all brands of the community to help stop the prevention of HIV, AIDS, STIs, and STDs. So if you guys know anyone that fits in the age group of 18 to 29 that you feel that would do great within this program, please make sure you guys come out and seek information about the program. If not my program, other prevention programs all across different organizations. So yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that too, because I think what you're getting at is that sometimes there's a lack of awareness about what offerings there are within the community. So just like you shared your business, your program that you're working with, that's something that I'm learning for the first time, right? And then sometimes, like now I can go tell someone else. So sometimes there's a lack of, you know, connectedness where we don't know all the that are available.
And I'm gonna say this, and I'm glad you said that because I feel like we don't have enough linkages within our own community at first to even go out and connect and link with other communities. I feel like we're so disconnected with our own community to when the heterosexual or bisexual community or non-binary community look within their community, look within our community on the outside looking in, they see so much disconnect to the point they're like, you know, I don't even know if I want to put myself a part of this or bring my business or brand into this because I have built so long to put it on this pedestal. I don't want to, you know, deter or take away from what I can do with this because of other actions from other people within my community.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so much. I think that was a really thorough response to that question. I just appreciate it so much. Eonna, there are a number of national as well as local political acts and laws being put in place that place limits on Black trans women living their lives to the fullest. What impact does this have on your mental health? And what would you like to say to elected officials who are putting these acts forward?
I think I answered this question already before. Haven't I? I think so. Just like the little act they tried to call themselves putting out for the for trans women that's 18 and under and soon to be. And like I said the very first time, I don't think it's fair at all, because you can't just put a limit on someone's transition. That's not fair. That's like putting a limit on someone's childbirth. How do you do that? It's not fair. Cause like it's 2022 compared to 2023. Kids are coming out younger and younger, identifying and knowing what they want to be by the day and by the second, literally. And I think it's amazing, but obviously those who's being elected don't. They think it as, oh, that child doesn't really know what it wants to be. That child's gonna wind up going and getting that surgery and wind up regretting it. But how can a child regret it? Obviously that child is going through necessary protocols and necessary resources to get what they need to get. I'm pretty sure they understand what they're trying to do. So it's not fair at all. And honestly, they wouldn't be elected. But that's not my place. And to say something to them, I would say get your head out of the clouds and actually open your eyes to what's actually going on out here. Because just sitting behind a chair and signing papers and calling yourself saying that you understand what's going on when you actually don't, is not. Because you can put a hold on somebody's transition, that can mess them up mentally. Really. Because this person can literally do everything they have to, go through all the right changes, all the right physical, mental, emotional resources they went through to do what they need to do, and all of a sudden, pause. Can't do nothing. I can't even take me personally, I'm 18. Literally, I can't even take a hormone pill right now without somebody going to jail. So how do you think that messes with me mentally, to feel like, oh, I can't go out here and get not even one pill of a hormone and someone will get locked up, we put away for God knows how long because of me? So that's putting a weight on my shoulders, because I'm ready to transition. You don't understand. Like, there's things that I want to do in life, and I can't do those because people want to put a pause on what I have going on, what we have going on. So, yeah, I just feel like they need to actually, before they put something out, actually sit back and look at what's going on and actually do their own personal research and actually see the youth as they're coming up and growing. Because right now, it's not working. It's not working for me at all. So yeah, I disagree with the whole thing.
Thank you so much for sharing that, and so passionately. Again, I just feel how much pain that causes you, how much that has been challenging to face so many limitations on you transitioning and just being your authentic self. I think that you just said it so nicely. Well, you just said it so beautifully, even though it's not a nice situation. You just commented on it well, that these laws that are being put in place are discriminatory, they're oppressive, and they really prevent people from living their best lives. And I just wanted to, oh, no, go ahead.
But the thing about it is, I'm not trying to bring, like you said, about the whole thing, about the other thing about racism and all that stuff like that. Okay, me personally, I feel like they're putting out this law now, but okay, you have a black trans woman, you have a white trans woman. Which one do you think is going to go out and get the hormones and the surgeries first? The white one, right? So the law is actually kind of hypocritical and racist if you actually think about it and go into actual detail. But that's for a whole other topic, but it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're absolutely right. You're getting an intersectionality that we know that people with compounding marginalized identities have even fewer resources, even less access, are marginalized even more. And so we can't just even look at transgender as one intersection. We're very specifically talking about Black trans women because those compounding identities lead to even more disparities, more challenging outcomes. And so I think you're absolutely right for saying that. And so thank you so much for elaborating. This will be our last group question before we go to the to our audience's questions. If anybody wants to start putting their questions in the chat, we'll have time for a few before we end here. But I just want to ask everyone on the panel today, what do you want mental health professionals to know about your life experience as a Black trans woman in order to provide you with the best possible care? So similar to the question asked earlier, but if you had something that you just really want people to take away from our conversation today about your life experience, what is it that's important for them to know in order to provide that quality, celebratory, and affirming care?
To the people?
Yes, to mental health professionals. What would you want them to know about your lived experience?
That it's actually hard out here and they need to take us very much seriously, because I don't think they actually do. Basically.
My answer to the response is that I'm human first, but I've been broken. I've been bruised. I've been let down. I've been disabled. I've been crippled by my own community. I've been crippled by the heterosexual community. I've been ostracized by my own family. I've been ostracized from my own peers. So when I come to you for guidance in basic conversations, just don't look at me as a number. I'm not a number. I'm not a 0. I'm not a 1. I'm not a 2. I'm not a 3. I'm not a 4. I'm JaiLyn, or for example, she's Tykira, or for example, she's Eonna, I'm sorry, or for example, you're Moe. So when we come to you for these personal conversations and these personal guidelines or blueprints to how to become a better us, don't look at us as funding for a grant, don't look at us for a number, and don't look at us as something that you don't understand. Just look at us as humans and look at us as someone whose life could possibly be at your hands, and you have the decision to make if they're going to be able to walk out there and be a successful, survival person within this economy, or if there's no more life there. So at those points in life, we're asking you to be more than just a counselor. We're asking you to be a best friend, possibly. We're asking you to be a brother. We're asking you to be a mother. We're asking you to be a sister. And we're even asking you to be a friend. And even sometimes we're even asking you to be an ally. And I think I really want us to understand it, because now that I'm a part of the nonprofit, I have to remind myself daily to stay reachable, relatable, and coachable. And I stay reachable from my community and others, relatable from my community and others. And I want to be coachable from my supervisors so that I'm able to give the best experience to my clients and any participants that I may encounter throughout my tenure in this position, or just in life in general.
Ooh. First of all, before I even say anything, JaiLyn, I sincerely, genuinely love you, and I am so proud. I'm just so proud of you. So proud of you. So proud of you. I'm gonna give you your flowers every time I see you. It's just so heartwarming. It's so emotional to see someone. I met JaiLyn not even a year ago, and to see her on this platform today. Thank you, Nadia, for this experience. It's just so sickening, JaiLyn. I love you, JaiLyn. And I love you too, Eonna. But with me, I would definitely say I'm a human being first, but I'm trans second. A Black trans woman, that is. That's definitely broken. Definitely heart. Sometimes I feel like there's no life in me no more. I've wanted to give up a lot of times. But coming to a therapist, I just wish you just sit down and we sit down together on the sofa or the couch or chairs or whatever and listen to my story. And trust me, by the time I finish my story of my life, being genuine and compassionate about my life to you, because it takes a lot to just open up to anybody, because you have to first of all have to build a trust. So me personally, I cannot open up to just anybody. But I can guarantee you, once you hear my story, you will look at me a whole different way. So just give us a chance, and don't look at me for me being trans. Look at me being a human, because I bleed the same way you bleed. We got the same blood. I'm no different than you. And this is just me. I'm me. I'm living who I want to be, me, every day. So yeah, because I don't want to say too much, because JaiLyn has basically said everything. That's why I'm just so proud of her. So that's basically it. Just give me a chance to tell you who I am, and let's go from there. Don't judge me.
Yeah, I'm hearing from everyone this really profound statement about being human first, and that you would like to be seen as human and not as abnormal or not as any different than anyone else. Yes, we have different lived experiences, and I think you've covered this a lot in the panel, that those lived experiences need to be visible and really celebrated within the therapeutic space. But that lived experience is a part of your experience, and you'd like that to be integrated into the work and to be seen as human. That, you know, when you're sitting with a new person and they're uncomfortable because they're really only seeing this one part of your life or your identity, it feels oppressive and marginalizing in a number of ways. So I'm just hearing so much of that, like, I am human, like you all have stated. And I think that that's been a beautiful offering here today. And I'm really just opening it up to the chat. If there's anybody that wants to get a question in before we close out today, this is a good opportunity to do so. If you had someone that one of our panelists that you wanted to direct your question to, that's also okay. But I'm just going to give you a moment here to get your question in before we close.
I don't know if you all can still hear me, but I scrolled over in the chat. Desire Smith, her question was, what are some ways I can best support my younger sibling who is transitioning? What resources, coping skills have you all found helpful within your journey? My younger sibling is strongly hesitant to therapy. My response to that question was, educate yourself with no barriers. See them as your sibling first and understand them and the daily battles that they face being a part of this community. And I think once you do that, that's going to open up so many more doors for them to accept them and understand who they are. Oftentimes, I feel like trans women don't get a chance to reach their fullest and highest potentials because we so much want that, you know, respect and love from our given family. People who actually brought us in this world, people who we share DNA with, people who we share blood with, people who we share same emotions and physical traits as. We want them to celebrate us and we want them to hear us. And I feel a lot of us do not reach our potential that we have because growth and everything stopped at that level. We were told no. And it's so hard for a lot of us to go back to that younger self and pick up that younger self and tell them to come on into the future, because we have been stuck and stagnated at that point. Because, you know, it's hard for an adult to go back to younger self and grab that younger self out of the hand, because when you do that, there's so many more emotions and feelings that you have to evaluate and deal with at that moment before you are even able to cross the threshold into where you're trying to transition to. And I also want to take the time to mention, transition is not just about sexual health and sexual mentality. Transition can be a whole plethora of things. A lot of people have to transition from one space in their jobs to the next, or we've transitioned from different stages of education, from elementary to high school to collegiate level, or just different things in life. Don't capitalize transition as just something sexual, because if you do that, you'll never understand the true and complete diversity of what transition is. You're actually moving from one place to the next phase in your life of where you see you want to be and who you want to be and what you want to be.
Thank you so much.
She said everything for that question. So there's no need for she made something to say. But JaiLyn, you said it all for that question. But I did want to say something real quick before she had said anything about the question. But she had said any other response on that. I also would like to say about T.A.K.E Resource Center, which is located in Birmingham, on the east side of Birmingham. They have a program which T.A.K.E Resource Center is led and operated by Eonna Duncan, which is the executive director. And they have a program called the T.A.K.E, which is this T.A.K.E. We have the HELP program, which is led by Corey Oden. And within HELP, they help with you come in, you do your intake. And once you do your intake, a person like me who does the peer navigating outreach specialist, we can, if you're a trans woman, you want to get your HRT, you have anything dealing with transportation, getting to from work, or you need help with finding a job, you need help with living. That's what we do there. Also, when it comes to your health, your well-being of mental health or your regular health, we can give you the resources that you may need for any doctors you may need, and we can make sure you get there on time and everything like that. T.A.K.E Resource Center is very helpful for those women of color, trans women of color. Now they're also branched out to just trans women, period, from what I've seen. But the help program itself it has so many resources. So if anybody is on this line that has any questions about T.A.K.E Resource Center, about what more they do there, or they have anyone up here that's trans, or know someone that's trans that may need some resources as far as helping get a job or helping them find the doctor they may need as far as their well-being, or for HRT, which is their hormone therapy. You can reach out to T.A.K.E Resource Center, and then you can ask for Corey Oden. If he's not available, you can ask for Donisha Duncan Board and go from there. They have groups Monday through Friday that's very helpful. On Wednesday, my biggest thing there on Wednesday is a group called Unpacking, which gives you as a overall group chance to unpack whatever. Huh?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just agreeing with Unpacking Wednesdays.
That's my best group because it gives you a chance to be vulnerable and it gives you a chance to just be yourself. Not saying you can't be yourself throughout the week, but Unpacking gives you a chance to whatever you can maybe be going through, personal, within yourself, or with someone that can be in that room, or someone on your job, whatever the case may be. That group gives you that chance to let it go, and you're not judged at any moment. You can be yourself all the way through. You can, if you want to cry, you can cry. If you want to cuss, you can cuss. There are therapists that come in every other week that switch out. The licensed therapists that come in, and they give you the best advice. It's been times where, and I'm gonna cut this very short. Eonna has came in that group with one of her experiences of life, and when I say it shook the room to where sometimes we get up amongst ourselves where we look at people and we're so quick to judge one another. When I say judgment, I mean within the community, to where we don't give that person a chance to even know that person. So, and I say I never judged Eonna. What I'm saying when I said this is, when she has shared what she shared, it had just broke me. Like, oh my freaking goodness! Like, never not know, because she never shows what she's going through. And the only time you know is when she tells you. And that's how it is with that group. You never know what a person is going through. I can be going through, and I'm smiling. Like, I smile all the time because I'm a very happy person. But behind closed doors, I'm broken. Like, sometimes I'd be like, ooh, what the world's going on? But with that being said, is that group is so powerful and meaningful. And you're going to learn a lot about a person. But the best advice I've got recently within months is within that group. Like, I can be going through something and a person can share, and I'm like, oh shoot, they're going through the same thing I'm going through, and not knowing it because that person may not show what they're going through. And it's good not to show what you've been through or what you're going through, because they don't give a person a chance to attack you. But with me, it's like, now I got to the point in life, now I just turned 42, that I don't care how you feel about me at the end of the day. I don't care what you say about me at the end of the day. I'm me. I'm going to be me. And I have to be that way because of the fact that I'm so used to making everybody else happy or trying to fit into all these different cliques and friends and stuff, to where I've lost Tykira, to where now I don't care. And I have to be about Tykira now, because if I don't, I'm going to be mentally a mess. That's just me. But T.A.K.E Resource has a lot of resources for anybody who's trans that's on this line right now, that you might even know young trans or older trans who may need some resources or need some guidance or help. Please reach out to Donisha Duncan Board. You can reach out, like I said, Corey Oden is over the help program. Please go there Monday through Friday from 11 to 8, and on Fridays to 8:30. And just get the knowledge. And Donisha is full of knowledge. When I say knowledge, full of knowledge. You have to just sit down and get to know her outside of T.A.K.E Resource Center, but get to know her inside of T.A.K.E Resource Center. That lady is a lady who's full of knowledge and don't mind sharing that knowledge with you. And baby, trust me, it'll take you when you get home and you sit down and think about stuff she may tell you, it'll take you a long ways. That's it.
And I also want to take time to advocate for T.A.K.E and Alethia House. I started T.A.K.E maybe about 7.5 months ago. And of course, I came to them as myself already, but deep down inside, I had so many things to battle against when it came to understanding my trans identity and understanding which road and direction that I want to take. And a lot of those women were able to walk me through just basic everyday experiences. I've even learned from Eonna by even being one of the babies, all the way up into the CEO and COO of the companies. And they really just take time and understand our experience because they are living our experiences. I didn't say that they have lived. They are continuously living the trans experience. And Alethia House, we're open Monday through Friday from 8 to 5 p.m. Of course, the nonprofit work or work in the community exceeds that. It's a 24-hour job. We cater to the LGBT.
You got it.
We cater to the LGBT plus QIA community. We also cater to the heterosexual community. We offer HIV testing, STI testing, STD testing, sobriety, counseling for any other necessities. We offer help with home needs, food needs, any needs that you can think of that you might face within this community during COVID or any other experiences that we face. You have the opportunity to reach out to T.A.K.E, or you have the opportunity to reach out to Alethia House and or BAO, which is Birmingham AIDS Outreach and AIDS Alabama. And you also have other organizations. So you can reach out to myself on social media or Tykira, and we will make sure, or even Eonna, and we can link you to where you need to be, because that's what we want to do. We want to make sure everybody's needs are being met. So yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing resources. Thank you both. Thank you to all three of you for being on this panel today. It's just been an honor to listen to you, to hear more about your stories. And I'll just take a moment to close us today. I wanted to acknowledge something that, you know, I'm sitting here as a Black trans man, as a licensed marriage and family therapist, on a panel that is about Black trans women. And I just wanted to acknowledge that, you know, in preparing for this panel discussion today, I was in conversation with Dr. Richardson, and we were talking about our concerns and how challenging it was to locate a Black trans woman who's a licensed therapist. And so we wanted to take this opportunity to do important work, to talk about how under-resourced the community is and how important it is that we increase representation on that side of the couch, that we increase representation in transgender licensed mental health professionals, because this representation really matters. And so if you have the opportunity to organize, to do any professional development, to support transgender people becoming mental health professionals, please take those resources. Or to create that space, because it's really, really necessary. So I would love to just thank everyone for being on this panel today. All of you all are phenomenal women, and I'm just really grateful to know you. Please continue to stay in contact with me. Thank you, Dr. Richardson. Thank you to No More Martyrs for having us here today. And I'll just give it back to our host for this beautiful event. Thank you so much for allowing me to be your moderator for this panel.
Thank you for being understanding. Thank you for taking the time to educate yourself. And thank you for just being able to show that we can have a positive conversation and a safe conversation within this type of safe zone from two different sides of a community. We have the trans community and we now have the heterosexual community. So thank you for being able to put this on this platform and show that we can have these type of conversations and we can understand each other if we basically educate each other. So I thank you for taking the time out your day to moderate us.
Thank you so much for saying that.
I would like to thank you. This has been very fun, but this is very, I love this whole, from the beginning of this whole experience all the way to now, this has been a very beautiful to me. I loved every moment of it. Hopefully I can come back again next time, Nadia, whenever you do have this again with Moe. You have been a very good host. You made things more comfortable and relaxed, because at first I was nervous, but thank you.
Thank you for being listening to our stories and actually inviting us back out. I actually thought I would never hear from y'all again. I don't know why, but I did. And it was just amazing to be able to actually speak up again because I actually enjoyed speaking for the very first time when I actually did this the first time. So yeah, I enjoyed y'all. Thank you.